apparently we might be a little closer to it. Canadians, low speed limits are apparently one of the things that are contributing to accidents. And we've got one of the lowest in the land and the lowest of a lot of civilized countries. And I guess we never kind of realized that as Canadians. And now there is a movement to let us hit the metal. Are we ready for it? Ian Tootill is the co-founder of Sense, and he is with the Education Not Speed Enforcement, a pro-speed group, joining us live. Ian, how are you?
Hi, fine, Arlene. Thank you.
You think
we're
need?
Not just so you know, we're not a pro-speed group, but we've tackled a few issues: keep right, accept to pass, photo radar in the past.
But you believe that we should go faster?
No, I don't believe we should go faster. I believe that the safe and reasonable actions of the reasonable majority should be made legal. And right now, and so we're not advocating that people drive faster. We're advocating that speed limits be set correctly with the correct methodology. I don't want to feel like I'm breaking the law every time I get in my car and drive with the flow of traffic. So, in Vancouver, which is where I live, British Columbia, we have some roads, and those roads are designed for higher speeds, and people understandably drive at higher speeds on those roads than what the posted limit is. So they're therefore lawbreakers, and therefore when they get pulled over, largely they get pulled over arbitrarily.
Do you think we're ready for this?
Well, I've heard this before, that we're just too stupid or just not good enough like the rest of the world. We're a developed country, just like any other country. We've got money. We put the money into roads. We put the money into great cars. I personally believe, and I think that some of the things that we've discovered can actually prove what I believe, that governments have actually set the bar. They have catered to the lowest common denominators by setting low speed limits, by setting, by catering to people that can't drive, which starts with the driver training and the way that people are tested. And people are naturally efficient beings. They find things to do when they've got time. So like the old Ray Kroc saying back in the days of McDonald's in the 60s, if you've got time to you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean. We've got plenty of time to lean on the roads, and that's why people are putting on their makeup, doing their texting, drinking their coffee, doing things that they wouldn't be doing if they had to focus on their driving.
And you think if they go faster, then they have to play a different game there on the road?
No, again, be careful, because I'm not advocating they go faster. I'm advocating that people pay attention to their driving, and I'm advocating that limits be set properly so that people are not made to be lawbreakers by driving with the flow of traffic.
Okay, but that means that the speed limits would go up.
It means in some cases speed limits would go up.
And what would your criteria be, Ian, for them to go up?
Well, what set this whole discussion off, Arlene, was an article that I penned for the Vancouver Sun about 2 weeks ago, and it was a recent experience on the Coquihalla Highway. The Coquihalla was built at a cost of just under $1 billion back in the 80s, and it was designed for high speed. And what I mean by designed for high speed is that there are few off-ramps, few entrances onto the road. It's a double lane on each side of the road, divided highway. There are fences on either side of the road to prevent wildlife from crossing the road. It's got long sight lines. It's designed for high speed, and people generally do drive high speed on that road.
So, Ian, all right, so in certain circumstances, and we would change the speed limit. Ian, how do you change the politicians? Because they do it as a gut reaction and a knee-jerk reaction to statistics about that speed kills. Do you think that's a fallacy as well?
No, I don't. I think you're very correct. And listen, I don't take lightly what it is that these people in a position of making these decisions have to go through. It's a very, very tough thing to stand up to somebody who's lost somebody in a speed-related accident, or somebody who's really emotional about this, and argue for something that appears to people like that is not on the side of safety. It takes a lot of guts, and it also takes a lot of knowledge, and there's not a lot of people that are armed with knowledge. So, they largely rely on the civil servants that have been there for a long time, who tell them how things are going to be done. And, there's all kinds of other reasons that besides, I think most of these people come from a good place, but some of them are coming from a place where they just want to make themselves indispensable and hire more of them. And
we've heard that before.
Yeah.
All right, Ian, what kind of reaction are you getting? We're going to go to the phones here. Are Canadians waking up saying, hey, I thought that, and I never really articulated because I didn't think it was possible?
I know public opinion is behind me. You might think differently from some of the letters that the newspapers publish, but my inbox is full every day with emails from people. People that phone the radio stations say that they're behind me, and all you have to do is go out on the highway. People are voting with their right foot. You can see what's going on.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to see what the listeners have to say. We appreciate it. You have a great day.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We say goodbye to Ian Tootill he's a co-founder of Sense. And what do you say? I'm all for it, and I'll tell you why. In as he said, certain circumstances, there was stuff flying through my head. Two things. One of them had to do with the speed I drive, and the other one had to do with what it means to be a Canadian.
You might think differently from some of the letters that the newspapers publish, but my inbox is full every day with emails from people. People that phone the radio stations say that they're behind me, and all you have to do is go out on the highway. People are voting with their right foot. You can see what's going on.
Give Arlene a call. 416-870-6400 or star 640 on cell. This is the Arlene Bynon Show on Talk Radio AM640.
444. Hey, look what's going on. A lot of people are moving to the cities. Does that mean the highways should loosen up a little bit? As we're talking about it there and this story broke, I don't know about you. As soon as I read it, I thought, why have we just been taking this? Why don't we have some kind of input? It is so old-style Canadian that we just say speeding is bad, and it is in certain circumstances. But when Ian was describing the highway that sparked this out west, I was thinking of the drive to Prince Edward Island. Same deal. Fences on either side as you go through the Trans-Canada there. For animals can't get on, and you're just sitting there and you just feel like you could go and it's safe to go and the highway is beautiful, and the next thing you know, you got to go, holy moly, I'm speeding. But everyone else is. Is it time we had an adult discussion about heading down the highway? Matthew on the 407. Matthew?
How you doing, Arlene?
Hey.
Currently cruising at 135, and about 18 to 20 people around me are currently doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Is it like marijuana? Yeah.
It's not. There's nothing like marijuana.
Well, I'm saying, it's illegal, but a lot of people are smoking it.
Yeah, well, it's. I think, Arlene, that not only do we need to have an adult discussion about it, you're absolutely right, but I mean, even in the... It's a thing that has to be done now. I mean, I can't drive at 100 kilometers an hour anymore. It's just not even possible. I feel like if I'm driving at 100 kilometers an hour, I've got to move out of the way of everybody else.
Yeah.
I am a detriment to the flow of traffic if I go at the legitimate speed. Now, my other point is that why do police officers not ticket you if you are doing 110?
Yeah.
You're obviously speeding. You're obviously above the speed limit, but they won't touch you if you're doing 10 kilometers or 5 kilometers.
This is the deal, isn't it? You go at least 10 over.
That's right. So my point is that I believe that they it's a money grab. They wait until you're doing 135, or you're the lone 135er, or you're the lone 150, and I believe 150 is a bit too much. That kind of business is no good. 50 kilometers over the speed limit, yeah, you're in trouble. That's just reckless. But I believe that you can't, that the officers or the province itself is saying, you know what, we don't trust your judgment, society. And that's it.
All right. Thanks. I mean, it's hit a nerve, hasn't it? It's absolutely hit a nerve. And when I was talking about the drive to PEI, let's face it, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, it's 110, just reminded by a listener. So you are going the extra and you feel perfectly, absolutely safe. Nadim in Mississauga. Hi, Nadim.
Hi. I just wanted to say, thanks for taking my call, Arlene, by the way.
Hey, nice to have you.
All right. I just wanted to say, considering we live in a city that's so diverse with so many different people, and I remember hearing someone on the one of your earlier calls talking about how in Germany and in other countries their speed limits are way higher.
Yeah.
However, I find that they have more concentrated amount of type of people. Like, more people have been born there and they're so used to it. Like, I was born here, and I remember hearing about the unwritten rules, how, if you're a slow driver, stay in the right lane.
Yeah.
If they're going 100 or 110, go in the middle. And if you're trying to pass 120 or whatever, go in the left, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know those things, but not everyone is kind of accustomed to these streets.
So you're saying that we have immigrants who are not good drivers, Nadeem, or are not experienced?
Well, yes, that is the main thing. It's inexperience. That's the main thing, is that, whatever they're comfortable with is not what everyone else is comfortable with.
Yeah, I don't know, though. I think they'd get hip to the movement there if they had to.
I find I kind of disagree with you.
All right, but you don't want to say things because you don't want to be politically incorrect.
I guess that's part of the situation, yeah.
All right. All right. Nadeem, thank you so much. He was going to say that a certain segment of the population drives very slowly and they're not adept. He was going to say that. Ray, welcome to the show. Hi, Ray.
Hi, Arlene. How are you?
Hey, I am good, and I do want to drive faster in certain circumstances. Now this has been brought to my attention. I'm getting a little ticked about it. What about you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know the debate came up a few years ago, I think it was, where they were looking at raising on the 400 series highways the speed limit up to 120, I guess from 100. And, and with that, most people are then probably going to drive 130, 135 probably. Now, I agree with your previous caller when he was saying that there definitely are people out there that either don't have the skill or are just not comfortable, driving at that speed, and then they're going to stay in the right lane. And then you're probably going to get something more similar to what the Autobahns are, where your left lane, I mean, you don't even go in there unless you're prepared to, to drive at that level. And, I think it's...
And that's not a bad idea. And you could see it. If you're not skilled and you're not willing to do it, you're not going to go on there.
No, exactly. And to be honest, I mean, the majority of the cars they're building nowadays wouldn't have any problem at all handling, those kind of speeds.
No, but that's what they're built for.
Yeah, but I think once again, it's coming down to the skills of the driver and what kind of training that they've had. Because I remember when I was younger, and my dad took me out on the 401, and he said, look, I'm going to take you out here, and I want you to drive up to 70, 80 miles an hour, because I know sure as hell but when you get out in my car that you're going to be driving over the speed limit, I want to make sure you know what you're doing. So, I mean, very wise words, I guess, that they're very well could have kept us alive when we were younger.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, I'm not going to ask what your father did for sex education, Ray. Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
Right. Because I'm sure it was very interesting. Steve in Toronto. Hi, Steve.
Hi. I think it boils down to is that the skill level overall in the general population just isn't anywhere near there to drive,
So you think we don't have the chops to drive?
No, I think that the skills aren't there. I think over the years the cars have obviously become that much faster. I said I've been driving up and down the 400 and all over for many years. And
so you're skilled, Steve, and the rest of us aren't?
No, not saying that at all. I said I don't have any problem driving around 120, but I don't feel that comfortable driving that much faster personally. And in addition to that, I don't think that the drivers in and around me overall have the skill. But right now, if you're going up and down the 400, whether it's 5:30 in the morning, where there's not enough cars where people can go quite fast, people are doing 130 easily plus.
Oh,
130
are the slow people.
No, well, those are the faster people.
Oh, I don't know. When I'm going up the 404 to see... You're
going to have you increase the speed that much more, you're going to have a lot more carnage and death on the road, particularly amongst males under 25.
Yeah, and that is the deal. Why don't we make it, Steve, thanks. Why don't we make it so if you're a guy we could just have high risk factor areas where you're not allowed to do stuff and then that would be profiling, wouldn't it? That would be profiling. We're not supposed to do that because it would be mean and nasty, unkind and politically incorrect to say that someone of a certain age in a certain socioeconomic, well, not even that. I mean, It doesn't matter how much money they make, these kids. It doesn't. Sometimes they have their father's car. We're going to go back to this later on in the show. Right now, though, he always drives fast. The AM640